Welcome back to Welsh Miniature Board Gamer, and this is my monthly review of what I got painted during the month of December. So this being the end of the year, we'll also give a quick rundown of everything that I did and whether or not I reached my target of painting 250 miniatures. So first of all, we have two miniatures from the Gotham City Chronicles game, the Batman game, and these are two of the civilians, the male civilians. And we actually painted up four of these, and they look really nice. There's very few mold lines, and the detail is really kind of crisp for a model board game, component, which really isn't quite as crisp as the, top of the line Games Workshop, what have you, all the bells and whistles. But for a board game, these are really nice looking miniatures, and they're really quite clear and easy to paint. So we also have four of these female civilians. So they're in like a single pose, as you can see. And yeah, they're quite good. I painted them with some contrast paints and some opaque paints and a bit of a mishmash of both. So yeah, I did do, of course, the washes as well to bring down the shadows. And then I brought them back up with a highlight colour. So you can see them on the raised areas of the miniatures where, say, like the fabric is being stretched across the skin. I have come and hit it back up with the base colour and even gone a little bit higher with a highlight, which I think really kind of worked quite well and really showed off that these miniatures are decent enough sculpts. So then we have some of these sort of man-trap ivy things. I'm assuming Poison Ivy's henchmen. And it's not a lot really can be said about these. I painted them rather cartoon-styled, using a lot of the contrast paints. But yeah, hitting them back up with, various opaque paints to try and bring up the highlights and the definition of them. So these are four miniatures from the same game, and these are the Court of Owls, I believe they are. They're like samurai dudes. I've painted them up in this sort of white, sort of light blue colour. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with how it worked. You can't really see the contrast as well here as in reality. But considering, white is a very hard colour to both shadow and to highlight, I think I've done really quite a decent job here, and it does show up as, there are folds in the fabric, and you can tell that the fabric is white. It's just that in the folds there is some shadow. So yeah, I'm quite pleased actually with how I managed to get this one done. It's gonna put me in good stead for when I'm painting Batman, which is kind of the opposite to this, where this is all white and you have to try and get something slightly darker as opposed to a dark colour on Batman, and you have to get something quite bright to be highlight but not too bright. So then we got two of these hyenas. So again, a basic paint job. Started off with a brown and raised it up all the way to a sort of tan colour in order to hit some highlights, etc. Now, they're not that brilliant sculpts, to be honest, but they're good enough, and they don't look terrible when you've painted them. So then I think this is the last of the Gotham City Chronicles miniatures that I painted up this month, and this is Clayface with his huge stone hand. Now obviously, being Clayface, you can't really make many artistic options here. He's clay, so therefore you have to kind of paint him in a clayish colour. But I have made his hand like a proper granite stone in order to give him some sort of colour zip. Here's another Gotham City miniature. This is a Killer Croc, and I really like the way I managed to blend the coat. I've made it look really quite grimy and quite sort of lived in, using a mixture of, again, contrast paints, but also using normal opaque paints to sort of pick out certain darker and lighter patches, and I think it really works quite well. And his skin tone I was really quite pleased with. I picked out the musculature, and yeah, he looks really quite good. So then we have a FDM printed crab. I can't remember whose design this was because it was printed up years ago, but I finally got around to painting him, and this is for my games of Ghost Archipelago Frostgrave. So yeah, they need like a giant crab or a giant tick type thing, and this guy kind of suits the thing. It's not brilliantly painted, but for an FDM print, it's not bad at all. Then we have 4 Stargrave miniatures. Now these are a kit bash. The one on the right on your screen are arms from the undead people and rat people from Mantic. I forget what they're called. And the bodies are from the goblin sets that I've been reviewing the last couple of months. And then we got this little dog man and another little lizard man, again using the bodies from the Goblin War Games Atlantic, I believe, kits, and Oathmark kits, and arms and what have you from various kit bashings, and they look pretty good. You know, they're pretty fun little things. So then we have the dwarf from the Only Games Crate thingy that I'm subscribed to, and this is a dwarf that I got in one of the packs, and he really is quite nice. You know, you can see how far the resin printing has come. This guy looks so detailed and so cool and really nice. The only thing I'm slightly disappointed about was that I've painted the plume on his helmet, and it looks like just one massive colour instead of being, you know, individual hairs, etc., or, you know, what have you. But apart from that, no, I'm really pleased with this miniature too. I'm quite happy with what I painted up this month. So then I believe this guy is the last of my Hero Quest miniatures. I've finally painted up the base box, and I will show it off at some point, although I do have some furniture still to paint up, which, you know, is a bit of a pain. But yeah, this guy turned out really quite nice, again using a mixture of the contrast paint from Army Painter and normal opaque paints. So then from the Forge Fathers from Mantic for Dead Zone, these are the Artificers, and these are really cool miniatures, and I've had them lying around for ages, and I've been really quite intimidated to paint them. But now I finally have. I really like them. You know, it's a basic orange jumpsuit with metallic bits, but yeah, I really like them. I think they are really characterful little people, and probably some of my favourite sort of space dwarf miniatures. So then we have this guy who's like one of their commander dudes, and again, there's nothing really more that can be said. It's an easy paint job, but it really kind of works. You know, that metallic black you start off with, we're going to slowly bring it back up towards the silver for the highlights, throw a few bronze pieces on, etc. Paint the orange jumpsuits, and you're pretty much there and done. So this guy is, I would say, like their heavy arms team, and he's really cool looking with the extra arms, sort of Doc Octopus style. So overall, I have managed to paint 31 miniatures this month. So did it bring me up to my grand total that I wanted to get to of 250? Yes, it did. It exactly got me to 250 miniatures of this year painted. So yeah, I'm really quite pleased with that. I managed to hit my target, considering at one point I wasn't painting anything, and I've sort of dragged it back as the winter months have dragged on to get my goal. So if you've enjoyed my videos, please leave a like and subscribe, etc. But until next time, it's going to be goodbye from me, Welsh Miniature Board Gamer.